Morning, welcome to today's live. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. Happy Thursday. Just like that, we're almost through to another week. I'm just going to go live here on Facebook and go live here on Instagram. Yesterday was probably one of my most productive days. On Wednesday, Hang usually spends some time with her mum, and I'm usually at home working. And I'll be honest, probably for the last few months, I haven't been super productive on a Wednesday. I just very low motivation. I hate using that term, but very low drive to actually be productive. And sometimes I'll just procrastinate. And just over the last week of just daily journaling and really just voicing to myself, first and foremost, exactly how I feel every day about my performance and what my intentions are, it just makes me so much more accountable to myself. And I'm so proud of the progress that I've made just in the last week. And yesterday was one of the most productive days that I've had. To share with you a first win, normally in this room, Crunchy would normally hang out with us for no more than 3 minutes until someone walks by the front window and he starts barking. And it's extremely distracting because you can't focus, you can't concentrate. And I'm pretty sure all our neighbors know Crunchy as our guard dog. And yesterday was the first day that I was able to train him to actually be okay with people walking by and it's not barking. And so now we get to spend even more time with him. So that was a huge breakthrough. We've been here for about like 2 months and we haven't been able to train him to not bark, but now we have. So we're making progress. Sometimes you might not see progress on a daily. You might not feel like things are even moving, and then one day things will just happen. And that wasn't the only thing, because yesterday's a reel that I posted on TikTok, it actually did really well, right? It was my first reel that with this coach. It's currently at like 26,000 views at the moment. So we're heading in the right direction, which means that working with the coaches I have and getting the support that I have right now is actually moving the needle forward. And it feels good because you get that dopamine, you get that response. And dopamine is just responsible for motivation. When you do something, you get a reward. Your body produces dopamine and it's triggering you to actually go out and do that thing again. And when you start to get results is self-motivating. And so sometimes, rather than feeling like it's a measurement of self-worth, whether you're able to accomplish your goals or not, consider like, are you getting the help that you need? Do you have the right systems and structures in place so that getting results is a measurable process rather than just a guess? That was that. I also spent a lot of time building on Everfit, which is our new fitness platform that I've just been using, and I've created myself as a client. So the program that I have with my current coach, my contest prep coach, is just on an Excel spreadsheet. And I've converted everything from that spreadsheet, including all the workouts, the reps, everything. I've put it into the new platform. I've put in all my daily habits, and I've also put in my objectives, put in my goals. So I'm using it as a client, and I want to use it as a client I'm probably going to be using this moving forward because I just want to know the ins and outs of how to properly use the app as a client. But it's great. I feel like that the app has great functionality. It's where we wanted to build a low ticket for a while now, but I feel like our old platform, TrainerWise, it was just too limiting for our low ticket. And we've had some people go for the downsell after they finished the program, but the benefits just wasn't there. They weren't able to set their own goals. And so because of that, it wasn't very valuable. But now I think it's actually quite valuable. I think it's great. My game plan, my goal is to actually build out new workouts every month, like 5 to 6 new workouts every month. So when you're subscribed, part of the community, you have access to the app. Every month you get new workouts with a new focus, a new theme that you can actually just subscribe to, kind of like the Netflix of workouts. And then you'll get access to how to create build our meal plans, obviously access to the modules. And as I was going through it, I'm in the process of right now rebuilding the welcome video. So right now, when you log into the app, it has their generic welcome video that kind of walks through the app. I started to write down all the dots in terms of what they go through, and I started to go through the app and I started to write down what I want to go through. So I want to film my own video. And so when you log into the app for the first time, you'll hear my voice walking, the client through using that app, how to use all the features, and what the expectations are, how they can. So what we've got here, we've got you can see your task, you can access your check-ins. It will also have reminders so they can watch certain modules as well. So I want to link it up with the school platform. So I want any client that joins aboard to have this curated experience for the time that they're with us that reminds them to watch certain modules on certain days, and it's kind of trickled throughout so they don't feel overwhelmed. And if they do forget to watch it, they'll get a notification or a checklist item to go through to watch it, and it links directly to that video. I think that's going to be very meaningful, giving them a very tailored experience. They'll be able to set their own goals. For example, water. They'll be able to track every day, like their sleep. There's a notification every single morning for them to track the sleep, the water intake, and their body weight. And we'll be able to see the metrics. And the old app could do that, but it just wasn't as easy or simple to use. But overall, very happy with the app. I was very excited to go through it. It took a while. I haven't built programs in a while. I normally have Coach Nam doing that. So I was going through to build the first program. I've got a scheduled meeting with Coach Nam this morning for 3 hours, booked him out, just so we can go through and migrate some of our workouts over, familiarize ourselves as a team, how to use the new app. And I'm also in the process of rebuilding our onboarding process right now, because we have a checklist of how we onboard using the old platform. As I was going through it, I created a new checklist on how we can onboard our new clients, just to standardize and streamline the onboarding process. When you have just a checklist, you just go through, your onboarding process is much faster, but you also make sure that you don't forget anything as well. So there's an order and a sequence. I'm just setting everything up, on the back end, to make sure it's as customized as possible. It's exactly the way that we want without overwhelming. And then we're also going to be rebuilding some of our onboarding, our call as well. Watching a video by Alex Hormozi talking about retention. It's funny because I was watching one of his older videos from like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was kind of talking about the same thing. And 3 years later, he's actually redone the exact same video, but now it's just been a little bit more comprehensive with his learnings over the last few years. And it's crazy to realize how many things that we were missing. We felt like what we had was already great because we had decent retention, but now we realize that there's all these other things that we could be doing that we're not doing. And it's funny, like when you're watching it, you're kind of like, well, I'm kind of doing that already. Oh yeah, that's similar to what we're doing, but it's not the same. And the sum of all products, when it's put together, creates an even greater outcome, and it's completely different. It's like a Big Mac, right? You have all the ingredients. You have the bun, you have the sauce, you have the lettuce, you have the pickles and the patty. And so you might take out one or two things and be like, yeah, I've had a Big Mac. I don't like pickles and I don't like lettuce. Well, it's not really a Big Mac, and it's not really the same. And if you were to create that product on its own, a Big Mac without pickles and lettuce, it's probably not going to be as popular or as big as an actual Big Mac itself. Big Mac's always going to be a classic. And really that's what it is. It's the recipe. It's the sum of all products combined. It's greater than the sum of some of the products. So I want to go through and revise all our processes to implement a lot of the updates, and I'll walk you through what they are. Number one is to set expectations. I'm usually very good at this, but I need to make sure it's standardized across all the coaches as well, to set expectations so the clients never feel like they're lost. So for example, what we do is once I close a client, I move them over to a closed opportunity on Go High Level, and that triggers all these automations. It sends them out the questionnaire. As soon as the questionnaire comes through, I've already told them on the call that we'll build everything and send it over to them on Friday, Saturday. And so I've already given them the next step. But as soon as we get the questionnaire, we get a notification in Slack. I like to go out and message them like instantly, like within like 2 minutes, because I'm always at my computer and you get the notification. So us as a team, we are always across whatever comes through. And as soon as I get the notification that a questionnaire comes through, I like to message them like within a minute and be like, hey man, just received your questionnaire. We're in the process of reviewing. We'll let you know if you have any questions. It just shows them that you're just completely on top of it. And especially when you've just collected their money as well, there's always going to be the fear and uncertainty, because the first thing that they think about is what they lose, because they haven't gained anything back. But then if you're there and you're filling in every single gap, so they don't even have time to second guess They don't even have time to have any doubt. They're just taken along this process. They're just going to think, man, these guys are just really on top of it. When you show the effort and you show the commitment, people feel that. And I think that's why our business has done well. And even though our client acquisition has been something that we've been struggling with in terms of building a consistent acquisition funnel, our retention gets us through the years. There's months where we haven't signed on a new client because we haven't been able to find someone that's good, because it's a two-way street. It's a relationship, right? It's not just about like getting everyone through the door. Man, I get on calls all the time with people that aren't compatible. So we always have to hold our standard high. I'll share a bit more of that in a sec. But through those low months, we then start to go through our current client list, and we think about who can we help on a longer term journey? Who's doing well right now that could actually really benefit from being with us on a slightly longer term, to aim bigger in terms of the goals, and then we get them to re-sign on. We get them to upgrade. And so really our biggest months are the ones where the clients actually upgrade for like the full year, and they might do like a payment plan, or they might pay in full, and that really gets us through. So it's just letting them know what the next steps are, expectations, right? Because sometimes the clients sign up for 16 weeks and they think that's it, right? Because coming into the program, it's like weight loss. They've already lost a lot of their weight and they think that's it. And then sometimes they don't realize that there's this whole journey that awaits them after the weight loss, and they're not clear on that. And so letting them know what's ahead in the program, what the phases are ahead, so they know exactly where they are on that journey, really helps them understand what's next, okay? And that will tie into the next one, which is like the program roadmap, to let them know exactly what phase they're in, what the expectations are. We kind of have that at the moment. We're just talking to them on a call and through the check-ins, but we're standardizing that through the video modules. And I'm also going to implement some processes where Nam, as the head coach, is going to catch up with them on each check-in to remind them of the process, but also get the notifications in the app to watch certain modules as well, just to make sure everyone is going to be across it. A walkthrough of school. So on the onboarding call, we go through all that. We're also going to walk them through school and get them acquainted with each other. I think a group onboarding is a great idea. We do group onboardings right now. It just gives the clients an opportunity to really engage and interact with each other, right? And get to know each other, because they're your peers and you guys feel like you're in the same boat. And if you're uncertain, it feels nice knowing that you're not alone and that someone else is just probably as uncertain as you. And when you see them grow, you feel motivated to grow as well. And then when you grow, they are motivated to grow. And it really creates that connection coming into a community. And I believe that our community one day will have thousands of people, and having a group onboarding will allow people to feel acquainted with a certain circle. And then as they get embedded into the community, the transition would be much more seamless. So yeah, that's really exciting. As we're going through, we're realizing all these little cracks. And then you think about like a leaky bucket. These are the cracks in the bucket that is leaking. And it might not seem like that much. However, there's a portion of the water that you pour in that's actually leaking out. And so it's counterproductive to a certain extent. If you can just fill up those leaky buckets, the benefits compound, because the clients will end up just staying longer. And the analogy that Alex Hormozi uses, which kind of really allows us to face that reality, is if we have, say, $100 a month is the low ticket and our retention rate is 10%. So our estimated lifetime value based on a retention rate of 90% is going to be 10 months. So it's $1,000. Okay. So it means you're paying $100 a month. We're expected to get, if we were to get 90% retention, we're probably going to get them for around 10 months before they drop off, right? That's just maths. Now we can get that retention rate from 10% to say 5%. Now, obviously the maths doubles, which means that they're now going to stay for 20 months. Now, if they stay for 20 months, they're not only going to get better results, but the cost that we have to pay to acquire the client or acquire that person can double, which means we can spend more on the front end marketing. And then we can all, because they've been together with us for so long, we build this connection, we're going to get more referrals as well. So the benefits of reducing our churn or increasing our retention by double is probably going to 2 or 3x, maybe even 4x the business. Alex gave an example. One of his businesses was doing like $2 million a month. And as soon as they reduced the churn by 50%, he was making $2 million a week. It's crazy. It's these things that No one teaches us. If someone were to want to be a trainer and they spend $5,000 on a certificate 3 and 4, no one teaches them how to run a business, because the truth is, anyone that actually knows how to run a business wouldn't be teaching that course, And this is where formal education is starting to, it's not progressing as much as this type of informal education, right? Wouldn't you rather, if you're going to spend thousands of dollars, wouldn't you rather pay someone that has run a successful business, and they're going to teach you how to run that business so that you can succeed and continue to generate and do well, versus just learn the theoretical course but have no understanding of how to run a business at all? I think people are under the misconception that if I go get educated, I'm suddenly just going to know how to run a business and everything's just going to be successful. You need to know how to run the business. And it's crazy how little I know about running a business, but we're still able to be profitable over the last 3 years. And so I'm very grateful. Some of it was luck, but also I did start off working with a mentor at the start, and now I'm really starting to expand on it. And I think the journey of entrepreneurship is not about finding the perfect coach, right? Or finding the perfect mentor. It's actually going out and just continuously seeking and opening your mind to, what is possible out there, learning from different types of people, observing from the outside. And honestly, the only way that anyone would ever know whether a coach or mentor is good for them is if they actually do it. And you know what? It's sad, but most people are so afraid of a what if that they never take action to never even find out. And they live their lives in quiet desperation and never knowing what they could achieve, and just having the fear of, what happens if I fail? Failure is part of the process, And that's why they say, if you want to be in a successful relationship, you have to be prepared to be hurt. Because if you come into a relationship with your walls up, you're not going to develop. You guys aren't going to grow. And there's going to be some kind of distance between the two. And you see it all the time, and you see it in movies and shows, and you probably see it around your friends and the people that you know. When someone closes their walls off and they're not willing to open up and be honest with their partner, that the relationship doesn't work. So you have to be okay with the idea that you are probably going to get hurt. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You move on and you find someone and you do the exact same thing. And if it works, it's great. That's the process of finding and being in a relationship. You have to be okay with it. Same thing with working with a coach. You have to work with a coach knowing that they have a difference of opinion, because if you guys had the exact same opinion, then you wouldn't have fucking needed the coach in the first place. And so the fact that there is a difference of opinion, you have to overcome, empty that cup, swallow your ego and be like, I needed help, which is why I'm investing into this. And I'm going to, fully absorb what they have to offer, and I'll make my decision afterwards, whether it's the right decision or not. And you learn. That's it. Learning is defined by a change in behavior. And so I just need to change my behavior. And by definition, I have learned. I will know for sure, with 100% certainty, first account, whether a particular strategy works for me or not. And I'm very, very fortunate and very glad and grateful that I have emptied my cup when I was working with this content coach. And my content has done well. It's the first piece of content that's done well on TikTok. So we're generating some momentum here. We're heading in the right direction. And I just got off a call with them literally just half an hour ago, and they were pretty hyped, and they said, we normally don't see traction this quickly. I jumped into a call from just last week where each of my pieces of content was getting 500 views to 1,000, and then one of them got, 5,000 or something like that. And then the feedback I got was, it's probably going to take 15 to 30 videos possibly to start generating some traction. And just 1 week later, sticking to the exact same process, we've now got our first video that's done, I think, got 26,000 at the moment. And look, it's not about the views, and it's not about the clout, or it's not a measurement of my self-worth or anything like that, but it's getting that exposure. We're heading in the right direction, that we're creating content that people find valuable, that they actually want to see. And I think this is just the first 1.5 weeks. Once we start doing more of this, that there's no doubt that it will continue to do well and grow, and I'll start to be able to find my voice a little bit more, which means that we're one step closer to being able to generate more consistent leads, at least organically. And once we hit 100, it opens up so many gateways for us. Things just become so much easier. And I'm looking forward to the next challenge, which is fulfillment and operations. We've just been stuck on acquisition for so long. But I don't feel like we've made any. I don't think we could have done anything better just based on the tools and the mindset that we have. In hindsight, I would do things differently if I could, because that's a part of growing, and you should always feel like that. But I think over the last 3 years, I could not have asked for a better start to our life as an entrepreneur. And it's wild to think what things are going to be like in the next 5 or 10 years. And you guys are going to hear this as a recurring theme. I'm going to continue to harp on about what I believe is going to happen over the next 1,000 episodes, because this is what you guys should be doing. You guys should be thinking about your goals every single day, envisioning it, and then manifesting that vision into reality every single day. I think about this every day. And I'm very fortunate to have this daily journal that I get to reflect back on what our goals are. It reminds me of the theme for the day. It reminds me for the intent of the day. And it just gets me razor sharp, ready to crush. And if I don't perform the way I want, figure out why, go back and do it again. I did so much yesterday. I also did some of my performance nutrition. I'm going to probably finish that off today. And that's it. The course is done. Just wait for it to get graded by today and probably get qualified by sometime next week. And that's like one tick box, and then finish off the expert coach. The video modules right now, still a massive chunk to get through, but just chipping away slowly. So I got to try to get some more of that done. But what I find to be really helpful is setting boundaries and drawing lines, not overcommitting to just one thing, not spending a whole day on just one thing. I know sometimes we want to, where we're like, oh, you know what? It's a Saturday. I've got nothing on, so I want to focus on it then. And we'll spend all day on it. You're not productive when you spend all day on it. Just get some work done, for an hour and a half, take a break, do something else, get some more work done. At the end of the day, you've actually moved the needle forward on 5 things. And that's actually the advice I had on a call for one of my clients, Dion, yesterday. He's actually, he's quit his job and he's learning drop shipping. And I really gave him the pressure 2 weeks ago. We had a call that almost sounded like we're challenging each other. It was quite confrontational. But I feel like he deserves someone in his corner that's gonna tell him the fucking truth. That's what you want out of a coach. And before I share this story with Dion, I watched a highlight for a fight a few months ago between Leon and Usman. And Leon was losing in the 5th round, and his coach just grilled at him. He's just like, man, stop looking so tired, stop feeling sorry for yourself, go out there, you got it. And I was so hype. His team really believed in him. Can you imagine what it's like being part of a team and you can see your guy just absolutely getting crushed? You'd be disheartened, but it's up to you to be that coach, to be that rising star, to give them that energy and be like, man, you have this, and actually mean it with conviction. And then Leon, within the next few minutes, KO'd the other guy, cold, kick to the head. So people, especially coaches, people need coaches that are actually driving them forward. And sometimes the coach needs to want the result more than the client. Sometimes. And then gets them to that level again, because you start to lose motivation. That you start to reach your limits, your mental, your physical limits, and you need someone to continue to push you forward because you made that commitment to yourself at the start. So I had the call with Dion, and this is my 3rd call with him I've had a call with him each week. This is the 3rd week in a row, and we're holding him accountable, and he's starting to run into some challenges, as he would, part of the road to progressive overload in his life. And one of the things that he was self-aware of is we set the calendar, the schedule, and sometimes he doesn't stick to it. He gets a little bit tunnel vision and he wants to solve a problem. And I can tell the way that he describes it, there's a problem and I feel like I need to solve it, and it might be my stubbornness. And as soon as he said, I'm like, I know exactly how that feels, because I'm just as stubborn. But sometimes it's not even a puzzle that he needs to solve. Sometimes it's just ego. Especially when you're building a website and then you build like a really nice website, and then you see someone else's website, you're like, wow, that's amazing. Maybe I can build something that of my own. And you go down this deep, dark rabbit hole, and none of that fucking matters. Like, it's not converting. You should be focusing your time on activities that are leveraged and move the needle forward. That's what matters. And I told him, like, Dion, there's some 16-year-old out there that gives no fucks about what he does. He doesn't care about any of the customers, doesn't care about the product. He just goes out there, just gets some logo designed by AI, puts it together on a website and starts fucking running ads, and he's going to make way more money than you because the time that it takes for him to get data is so much quicker while you spend like 4 hours trying to do a website. You know, that's just to put into perspective. There are people like that, and that they have become very, very successful doing so. And it's just being able to help them, you know, draw those boundaries and be like, you know, don't overcommit to one activity. Set yourself that time limit. And if there is a genuine puzzle, ask yourself, like, is someone going to die? Like, does this need to be solved right now? Can it be solved tomorrow? Because the stress will start to build up from unmade decisions. And if every day you set yourself a commitment of doing 5 things and you spend all day just doing that one, there's 4 things hanging at the back of your mind that you hadn't done. And as the days drag on, you stop respecting your schedule, you stop respecting your checklist, you stop respecting what you say, and then you start to feel burnt out because you don't have the mental capacity to move forward because your mental capacity is spent worrying about the things you haven't done. So yesterday, I made sure I drew lines. I tried to tick off as many things as I could. I did my 30 minutes of cardio as well. And I did my course, and I felt really, really productive. I got a little bit of everything done. And that's what matters, because every single day, everything is moving forward. And I just need to have more of these days, and I will eventually start ticking everything off. And that's really exciting. So that's it. Today, I'm going to spend 3 hours. We've organized this early in the week on Everfit to build out the programs, to understand the functionality, to kind of walk each other through the app. It's cool because right now, you know, we have a 2-to-1 coaching system. So we have 2 coaches for 1 client. We can now move our group chat over to just one platform as well. So we can just get off Facebook Messenger, which is great. And then otherwise, I'm going to do my nutrition course, finish that off. And then whatever time I have left, I'm going to continue to do the lead magnet, which is how to have more energy. And and also a bit of the video modules for school, for the onboarding, Achieve DIY. That's it. Really excited. You know, tomorrow's going to be Friday. It's already 2 weeks since we started this, and time actually flies. It actually flies. Anyway, going to go make the most of the morning now. Catch you guys tomorrow.